guys, it's Ross. Hope you had a great day. Hope if you're in the US you've had a great Independence Day. Just wanted to talk to you about something today that is, I suppose a bit more serious than most of my videos. I'm not going to make it super serious, just sit here with like a dull face all the time, making it look like a really, really grim video. The plan is to talk about something that's quite a grim subject, or a subject with grim prospects looking into the future, but hopefully make it a bit interesting. Today I wanted to talk just about money, sort of the financial problem that we've got going on at the moment across the world, basically the global recession. Just to sort of put it in perspective how much trouble we're actually in. Each person in the UK owes over £15,000. So that's every person, every like little baby, every toddler, every person in work, every pensioner, everyone owes £15,000. The US, you've got it way worse. In the US, you've got 1 trillion in actual physical money, notes. Actually, I won't call it physical money because physical money's silver, but we'll get down to that later. In actual notes, you've got $1 trillion. But the federal debt alone in the US is 15 trillion. So that just sort of puts into perspective how much trouble we're actually in. Now, how this works is that money is all computerized numbers. It all goes through big computers. The debt. So say I lend you £30, and I want a 10% interest on that over a year. At the end of that year, you're going to have to pay me back £33. Now, how about if that £30 is the only £30 in the world? You can't owe me back that £3, but it's still clocking on. And when you can't owe me back that £3, I'm going to want 10% interest on that as well. So the next year, that's going to be an extra 30p. So it's going to build up and build up and build up. So it's like £3.30, then whatever 10% of that is. And as the interest rate changes, it's just going to get such a big stage where it just begins to snowball and just roll downhill. Now, what you've got here, what this is called, it's called hyperinflation. Now, this is similar to what happened in the Weimar Republic in Germany. Just before the war, well, in the 30s, if you were in Germany at that time, you literally couldn't put enough money in a wheelbarrow to take it down to the market to buy a loaf of bread. I think it figured out something like 2.5 wheelbarrows full of Deutschmarks notes was the equivalent to go and get a loaf of bread. That's called hyperinflation. Similar thing happened in recent years in Zimbabwe, where it was costing millions and millions of Zimbabwe dollars just for like a pint of water. Now, the problem that's not helping this at all is the government are trying to make up for the excess of money that doesn't actually exist. Now, this all started when they dropped the gold standard just after the war. I believe it was like fully severed in the US in 1971 by FDR. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think that's a fact. But yeah, so the gold standard was basically severed in the 40s. Now, the gold standard means that for every dollar, or for every we'll do it in American, it's easier. For every dollar you've got a dollar's worth of gold to back that up. If the price of gold rises, you can have more dollars. If the price of gold drops, that's when you get into a problem, because you've got an excess of notes, and there's not enough gold to back up that. So when that was abolished, it basically meant quantitative easing could take place. Now, what is quantitative easing? Quantitative easing is the printing of money. So basically, you've just got people at the Bank of England and the Bank of America. They sit in their big desks and they go, right, we've got this much. The government have got this much money to pay. If we print off so much money, we can start to help print it off. So if you print off $1 million, it's nothing. It's just paper, which devalues the money that already exists, which causes inflation again and causes the price of things to go up, because as a relative percentage of the total amount of money in the world, you've just decreased the percentage of each note. Now, so the reason I'm making this video really is I am looking at silver. About a year back, I bought 25 ounces of silver, and for these 25 ounces, I paid. This is including tax and including postage. Postage was only about £5, but I split it up because I figured out that by the time I sell it, I want to know how much I've actually physically paid for each ounce. Now, I have paid £603 exactly for 25 ounces, which works out as £17.84 per piece of silver. So the price of silver has dropped significantly. It's £12.80 something now, and when I bought it, I don't know how many pounds it was, but in dollars it was just above $18.02, and now it's dropped down quite significantly to about £12 sterling. When I say pounds, I'm talking pounds sterling, English money, not pounds as in pounds the weight. And ever since I bought it, it's never really came back up to the height that it was at before. If you look at, if I show you this graph here, I've tried to do it. This is the second time I've made this. I tried to show you these in editing, but it wouldn't work. If I show you this graph here, now this is where we are now. We're up this end of the scale, and I bought it when it was sort of up here. So that's just to show you sort of the slight drop it's had. Not particularly worried about it. Not worried at all, in fact. So much so, I've decided that I think I'm going to purchase some more silver. Now, where was I? Yeah, right, so I've got a couple of options here, and I've looked down on, I was looking at these last night, and for every single coin they had, I've looked at 3 or 4 websites, every single coin they had on the website, they had quite a few. You could, like, the bulk orders, you could order in 1s, 10s, 20s or 25s, all depends the size of the tube that that particular mint issue in. 50s, 100s, 1000s, tens of thousands. And overnight, many of them seem to have disappeared. Many of the bulk order options, a lot of them they're now limiting them to 10. 10 are the maximum order you can make is 10 coins, which I think slightly worrying. Does that mean that there's a shortage? If there was, you'd think the price would go up, but I think it's a bit strange that all these 3 websites seem to have limited all their orders to 10 at the same time. So, these are sort of the options that I can go with now. There was a couple more I was looking at before, but they've stopped them. For example, there's a private company called Johnson Matthey. Theirs were the cheapest. I was sort of debating whether to go with a private company or a private foundry or whatever they're called, the casting people, because obviously the thing can be debatable. But all of the websites I was looking on, like 100% genuine websites, and I've checked up and I've read reviews and stuff, and I've ordered from before when I bought this tube, one of them. So I know the genuine websites know it's going to be a genuine coin, but obviously you've still got if you were to go and sell it, obviously it's not as easy as just handing over one of these. So, by the way, that wasn't a coin wearing a skirt. I'm just holding it in a bit of old cloth because I don't want to tarnish the silver. Right, yeah. So this is the options I can really go with now. I can go with the American Eagle. For that, I can buy 20 for £366.72, which works out as £18.34, which is more than I paid per ounce before. That's including tax, by the way. That's more than I paid per ounce before. So that would suggest that the price has gone up, but it hasn't. Because if you look at the Canadian Maple, which is the ones I decided to buy, if you look at the Canadian maple, that's £17.42. So each coin relatively has only dropped sort of 40 pence or so. Obviously, a lot of the value of this coin is the stamp value, the value of the coin actually being existed, and obviously now being 2013, these being 2012 coins, obviously the price has gone up because they're no longer making these particular coins. Canadian maple 25 for £435.60, or the Armenian coin, which I was looking at, which is a Noah's Ark coin. Very, very, very nice coin. I like the look of it. 20 for £348.24, which works out as 1 pence under the Canadian maple. So I've been looking, and I think the best choice is going to be either the American Eagle or the Canadian maple. Now, obviously, the American Eagle is almost £1 per coin more, so I'm going to end up paying £25 more for the exact same amount. Although you get 20 in an American tube, 25 in a Canadian tube, I'm going to be paying about £20 more for the American thing. But I think that's what I fancy. I've got a tube of Canadian maples already. I fancy another coin, and the American Eagle looks like a very nice coin. So I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do about that. Good news. I've got some good news. The quantity of easing in the UK has been put on hold by the new Bank of England Governor Mark Carney, who's a Canadian, which also means in England the price of these Canadian maples should go up. Good. But there's also bad and good bits. There's no quantity of easing for the next 52 months. He stated that, so that's quite a long period of financial security. He's also said that the interest rate will probably still be fixed. It's going to be fixed for at least the next year, but probably for the next 52 months at 0.5%, which isn't really good for anyone. It's not good if you want to. Well, it's good if you want a loan, but because the interest rate's so low, it means the banks aren't giving out loans because they're not making enough money on it. And also, if you've got lots of money saved up in the bank, it's not very good because you're hardly making any money on it. So that's not really good for anyone. But we're in so much trouble; it's what's got to happen. So yeah, I think I've covered everything. Let me just show you something here. This is why. This is sort of reasons why I think silver is going to be a great investment. One reason is that the Chinese are buying tons of it. They're no longer exporting any gold or silver. That's why the gold or silver prices for the Chinese pandas and the Chinese Dragon Special Edition ones, I think they are going up, because they're no longer exporting them, which means that any current coins that you see on the internet are probably either old stock that were bought earlier on in the year, or they're being smuggled out of China. That's why they're so expensive. But yeah, silver's used in Chinese used in everything. Sorry, silver's used in everything. From the camera I'm recording on now, this remote, TV remote, clock, basically anything electronical contains silver. And there's a lot of information out there and geological research that's suggesting that silver's going to completely run out. We're going to make it's going to become the first element to become extinct by something like 2020. So that's not long. That's 7 years, and it's used in everything. So a lot of people are suggesting that it's going to start hitting the same sort of price as gold, $1,200 an ounce. So if that does happen, that will be quite good for me. Perhaps not so much, because I wish I could. If that happens, I'm going to wish I bought loads and loads more. But obviously, like anything, it's a gamble. I don't want to waste all of my life savings that I've got through like inheritance stuff. I haven't got a lot of money. I think a couple of thousand, 3,000-4,000 or something. I don't want to waste all the money that I've got through inheritance, and other things that I'm going to obviously need. Sort of year and a half, 2 years, when I want to buy a car, and eventually when I start looking at wanting to buy a house, money for starting up businesses and stuff. So I don't want to end up wasting all of that money if silver does take a big hit. But I don't reckon it's going to, and that's why I'm looking at buying more. There's different ways as well. Final thing, because it's turning into quite a long video. There's different ways in investing in silver. Obviously, you can go for the coin. Close up look, yeah, no, close up look there. I think that's a lovely looking coin. On the other side, it's got a queen. Quite a nice picture. Not really. It's just a side with profile. But yeah. So you can obviously go with buying these, which are in 1 ounce bullion coins, or you can buy them in bars, which tend to come in grams. So that's more of a European thing. But England's the only country in Europe that doesn't like using grams. In school, the strange thing is, we're taught to use, ever since I've been in reception class, so ever since I was sort of 4 or 5 and started doing school, we've been taught centimetres, centimetres, kilometres, metres, grams, kilograms, but, and this isn't just speaking for me, this is speaking for everyone at school, we still use pounds and ounces when we're talking to each other. If we're measuring something, we'll use inches, not feet. Although our engineering teacher does like us to use millimetres, but yeah, we'll still say it's about 3. If we're just giving a rough estimation, we'll say it's about 3-4 inches long. And miles as well. All of the road signs are in miles an hour, so it's a bit strange. But yeah, this is going a bit off track there. Another way to do it is to go about doing it in scrap silver. These are old coins, mainly from the 20s. You've got florins here. You've got sixpences in there, but these are after post 1909, or I can't remember exactly what the year is. These are only 50% silver, but obviously you don't get the price for 50% silver because these still have to be refined to turn it into these. Final thing, I've said this about 5 times now. Final thing, I'm just going to show you this little graph. Just make sure. This is a 20-year silver graph. So you've got here in the 80s, might be 25. You've got here in the 80s with a big stock market crash. Silver basically shot up overnight. So if you bought silver down here and sold it up here, you would have made loads and loads of money. But if you've bought it up here and it's dropped down to there, you've had to keep it for a very long time in order to make the money back up. Recently, peaked up to, I think it was 2011. It peaked almost up to $50 an ounce, and it's gradually making its way back down. But I do think that it's gonna sort of rise infinitely up there somewhere. There's a lot of information on the internet to suggest that, and not people trying to sell you anything, just generally trying to advise you on the money programs as well, and Bloomberg, Wall Street programs. A lot of them are like financial analysts that are coming on there saying silver and gold are going to be the next big things that are going to be running the world. So just something interesting for you. There's not there's not much that's saying that it's not going to be. So as far as I'm concerned, it's a no-brainer. So I'm going to leave it at that now. It's over 19 minutes. Hope you've got this far. I don't expect you've got this far. If you have, it'll be nice to know. I hope you enjoyed this video. Perhaps if you have, I'll make more videos like it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye. If I can turn the camera off.